This podcast is intended for adults only. We do not condone the use of any illegal substances, and anything we consume is for educational purposes only.
Because, we should be afraid of a plant that grows from the ground. And, endocannabinoid system is, it's in your body and it produces cannabinoids. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna rant. Just play the music, Mitch.
My girl get fine up. All my clothes is local, bitch. I really ride designer.
Let's go, gang. Highest in the room, yo, we get fucked up. Hey, you can count on Trey, can't bring the loud pack. Hey, get us in the stew and that's game over. Western Metal Building, that's a home run. Yeah, get the up or leave the fucker fold.
You're listening to the Canna Kuyas podcast, where we are cultivating conversations concerning cannabis, culture, and creativity. I'm one of your hosts, Mitch Narito.
And I am Eric Esteban, and I am really excited about this grow update because this is the best part of the grow cycle for me is weeks 5, 6, 7, 8 of flower. Like
okay.
the second part, the second half of flower it's the best. Like, cause you just saw the plants after not seeing them from last week. And what do you think?
They're a lot bigger. The rate that they're growing is tripping me out because the last episode I was already surprised at how big they were getting. Now they're even bigger, and now they're starting to get frosty. They're starting to get
they're getting sticky.
They're starting to get those trichomes, right? And it's interesting because the trichomes are not see-through yet. They're like very opaque. They're white, but they look like wax to me.
Yeah.
So. And
it's very interesting, the journey of the trichomes during the grow, because they're like you said, they start out almost like white or almost like just like little. You almost think they're like mold, on the leaf, and then they turn to that clear. But then you want them to go back and be a little bit hazy way before you harvest, and it is really, it's my favorite part. But it's also for me now. It's also the part where the plants are almost on autopilot. And now with this new rooted leaf nutrients, because it's all organic nutrients. It's all basically like, I've already reached out to Nick at Rooted Leaf to talk to me about, and he's going to be on the show, and he's going to kind of break down all the bottles. And break down all the different fermentations and different things that are happening in the bottles, but the plants, even the plants outside, because I kind of did the foliar program on the plants outside and on the house plants and on the plants. Well, and I gotta say, man, there's a drastic difference in the greenness, in the crispness, in the healthiness of the plants.
So what Eric is. Excuse me. What Eric is talking about is he's got a couple plants outside the tent that why are they outside the tent? Just because you had so many?
Because they were clones that were getting too big for the clone tent, but they were too. There was not enough room for them in the flowering tents.
Okay, so you're just
so now, since it's September, October here in LA. It's that time that the plants would start to flower anyway if they were outdoors. So I'm just kind of keeping it in the outdoor patio in the Buddha lounge and having them grow with the sun. And man, it is amazing.
They're very vibrant.
They're very super stretchy. Like they're even bigger than the comparable plants that are in the tent.
They're looking for that sun.
Pot size, yeah, because there's no replacement for the sun. So no matter what kind of good LED, HP haloid, whatever kind of light bulbs you have for your tent in your indoor grow, nothing beats the sun. And so I just put them out there on the window, basically by the window, outdoor in the Buddha lounge. And I'll start posting pictures of those too, since we start talking about them, because I was originally going to pass those on to another grower. Because he wanted to have the Jack Herrera genetic in his garden, but he never picked them up. And so I was adapting them because he was going to grow his outside in his backyard, and I was kind of getting them used to and acclimating them by keeping them on the patio, and thrived out there. So now I'm just going to keep them since he didn't pick them up.
I just think it's funny because like you see those plants and like when we first got our plants, like they were tall or like they were small, and you couldn't really tell. Like,
they were like a little, like not even a little 1 gallon. They were like in a little, like just little seedling pot.
Yeah, you could get away with being like, oh no, this is like this is not weed, like this is not marijuana.
Oh yeah, you could even, oh, this is just a little bamboo shoot, whatever it was.
But like these, there's no mistaking them. It's like if you were to carry that around, people would be like, is that a pot plant? Like,
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, those are all pot plants, and I feel like that's probably why the grower, because it's easy and pretty inconspicuous. You can even ship clones. There's ways to do it, but it's much harder to carry a full-grown plant. And also, like, I got to a point where he was going to pick it up and he was going to buy it from me, and after a point, they're starting to stretch and they're starting to flower, and I'm like, now I don't want to sell it.
Yeah.
I'd rather just keep it now, and because now it's worth more. Because now I've got it to a certain point. Now it's not even a clone anymore. Now it's a full.
It's a legit plant.
It's a flowering plant, But it is my favorite portion of the grow because it's the time where they could go from pistils to buds, and you can see the transformation when you see day to day.
You don't because in the other tent where you have the Jedi Cookies, the strawberry cough, and the blueberry. What was it? Blueberry Kush?
No, it's the DJ Short blueberry.
Oh, just blueberry. Okay. Yeah. So just blueberry. So in that tent, you have all those three, and it's kind of interesting because you can see how like they're different, but you don't think it's like a little crowded? Because for me, it's hard to tell. Where one plant begins and where one plant ends. Because
it is a little crowded in there, but
that's what it is.
Well, it is what it is now. Because I started out, mind you, with 8 pots, 7-gallon pots in there, and then only those 6 sprouted, or 5, I should say, sprouted, and then we saved the DJ Short blueberry clone, and so.
Kind of sad that the blue steel
yeah, I'm a little sad that one died, but it was just too hot. It was just too hot in the summer, and next summer part of it is adding new genetics is going to be done when it's really like I could start adding new genetics now because we've got clones growing. But I have a bunch of autoflower seeds that we're gonna start. There's a whole bunch of stuff we got planned for the grow and the Buddha Lounge and all the different stuff. But you got to follow us on Canna Kuyas at Canna Kuyas or Canna Kuyas?
At Canna Kuyas.
At Canna Kuyas on Instagram, because that's where we post all of our stuff. We can't go on TikTok because they immediately delete it. It's like they have an algorithm that detects.
It's for kids.
It's for the kids, whatever. So Instagram is kind of the only social network we have. I mean, I might start to do a Threads with it. Connect it both, Might
as well, yeah.
They're connected. We'll see. But at Canna Kuyas, follow us there, and I'll be posting our new outdoor grow, our new all of the updated week 5 flower of the Jack Herrera, the Mitch, the original clone, the first clone that Mitch purchased. And now it's a full tent of Jack Herrera.
Just the multiplication of it just blows my mind. It's just like how it worked out that way.
Well, I mean, we would have probably gotten a good amount from just your plant, and now you'll have Jack Herrera until you don't want Jack Herrera anymore.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm cool with that. I like Jack.
And then, and as far as I'm really happy about saving the blueberry now, especially looking at it week 5 and how those pistils, they're such thick pistils, and they're still just pistils. I mean, the trichomes haven't really. There's a few little ones on it if you look closely at the blueberry, but they're not nearly starting yet. So they're a little slower. But again, those pistils are so much thicker than the other. And then because I sit and stare at the plant, so I can even see the distinct differences. Like the strawberry cough, all 3 in the back. All of them are they're so like circular and puffy almost. And then you got the Jedi Cookies, which are already kind of crystally and trichomy all over the place, and they're all indicative of their strains, because blueberry is a hybrid. You know, so maybe not as potent really, but it's really a hybrid from its start. Jedi Cookies is predominantly indica, because it's both from Girl Scout but an indica hybrid still, but predominantly indica. And now you got these bursting trichomes and these bursting, and it's really powdery kind of thing. And then you got the Strawberry Cough, which is also a predominantly, I think it's pretty sativa-y, if I'm not mistaken. I should look it up. Let's look it up.
I think out of all of the strains that are in your tent, I think I want to try the Strawberry Cough the most, because that's the one. Like, I'm pretty sure the Jedi Cookies and the blueberry are gonna be fire, but it's just for me, I have like a personal connection to Strawberry Cough. Like, it's just it's a good strain. It's
it's the same. My sister, that's her favorite strain. It's part of the reason why I chose it. And it's also a sativa. Yeah, and so that's probably why it's, because you lean to sativas.
I don't think I lean towards sativas. No. Are
you more of a hybrid? Because I'm at a point now where even like the indica sativa hybrid name it doesn't mean anything to me as much.
Yeah, like we've gone over this. It's kind of like, I smoke and then I just go by feeling. And like, remember, like, strains are not always consistent with how they smoke.
However, when I smell, what's very funny about this grow versus the past year and a half of grows is that this is the first week 5, week 6 that I'm really starting to smell the plants, and I can smell the differences between the plants.
Yeah, like I can.
There's a very big, distinct, almost citrusy smell in the Jack Herrera tent where I associate with sativa. Like,
I can see that because it's light. Because when you opened your pure tent, like, even though that the Jack is a little further along, your tent is a little more. It's got that more muskier. It's got that danky. That,
it does. It's got a little dank to it.
Yeah, it's got that little, like, you get that little whiff, and it's very subtle still. It's not. Yeah. It's not like strong. But yeah,
but because those things, again, in the same way that the blueberry, the DJ Short blueberry, the pistils are so thick, and you can tell them that those pistils are going to turn into, thick big buds, and that the pistils are already making it lean because of the weight of the pistils. So when those form into those big juicy buds, those buds are going to be big. And I mean, hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers. I'm not trying to jinx anything, but between adding the rooted leaf nutrient line, in keeping the recharge with real growers, and all the Hygrozyme products that I still use, these plants are thriving, man. And I'm excited about all the stuff that's happening with them, because I will finally, at the end of October, not have to go to the dispenser anymore. Because as much as I don't mind, because shout out to Cam. Cam has been my savior, because I stick with that brand loyalty to Cam, and that is a quality dispensary brand product.
Yeah, me. I've been going to the dispensaries, and I've been picking up because I've noticed about myself. So I can make like a half ounce last a good like 3 to 4 weeks, and that's me smoking every day.
So 14 grams.
14 grams.
A 14-gram bag. You could last that for about
3 weeks. Like, let's say 3 weeks.
Okay.
Right? I can make that last, right? Because I was trying to experiment with how much I should be buying, like, each time I go in.
Sure.
Like, eighths, singular eighths are not going to last me very long.
Eighths are a waste of money for me.
Yeah, they are.
I just bought an eighth of Cam, which was, I think, 50.
Yeah.
And because I just didn't want to go down in quality anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just tried to stick with Cam. And so they had an eighth of Cam at Exhalants. And they didn't have any Exhalants minis. They didn't have any of their own brands. So I was like, let me just go get Cam. And then I spent $50 on that eighth, and it's almost gone. That was like 2 days ago.
Yeah, see? So I bought, last week, or like a week and a half, I bought a half ounce of, it's called hippie flower, I think.
Okay.
That's what we were smoking on your birthday.
Okay, what was it? What was hippie flower? What brand was that?
That's the brand. That's the brand.
Hippie?
It's called hippie flower. And then the strain we were smoking was Gastropop.
Okay.
And like according to and this is just based off of what the packaging is. It was testing at like 31 percent.
I mean, as long as it's not unrealistic, and that's a double negative. But as long as it's realistic in their interpretations of, like, when they get into the 39, 40,
that's when
range,
it's enhanced.
Then I'm like,
it's enhanced.
That's what you're not. That's something different.
No, and like so the way that I purchase, right? Like, so I bought the half ounce, and it was on sale. It was like the place I was at, it was like buy a half ounce, get 30% off, right? So it ended up being like $60.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was like $60 with tax and everything.
Cam is double that.
Yeah,
it's like 130 and then 160 out the door with tax and everything.
And that's the thing. Like, whenever I go to, because I go to a couple dispensaries, and then I always look at their deals, and then I shop. Like, I actually have to shop. Yeah. Like, I'll be like, okay, what's, like, I don't always go by THC content. I'll go by price, because I know what I should be paying for certain things, right? And then I also go by, like, if I buy a pound of weed, or not a pound, an ounce of weed, I could buy a pound, but an ounce of weed, like, I feel that'll last me a long time, but then I get tired of smoking the same thing.
Sure.
Right? Like, because it's like, I need a little variety. So,
yeah, like, you're going to get a jar of strawberry cough and a jar of Jack Herrera for your birthday. And then you can switch between the two.
I can alternate. But, like, I think half ounce is the sweet spot for me. Like, and that's, that'll last me a good while.
That's what I'm doing too.
But yeah, like, because like I'm looking, because the last full ounce I bought was from Exhalants, and it was good, but it's just, and that lasted me a long time. But
that ounce bag of minis.
Yeah. But and we were smoking that for a minute.
Yeah,
right?
But it was good weed.
It was really good weed. But, like, at a certain point, I was like, all right, like, it's starting to get dry, because, like, like, I changed containers and whatnot.
Sure.
But I was like, it's starting to get a little dry. And that's the thing, too.
Do you keep yourself in a refrigerator, or, like, any kind of, like...
No, I don't do that, because I learned that keeping weed in your fridge is not necessarily a good thing.
Why?
Because it does promote, like, mold and mildew.
See, that's what I thought, because it's very moist in my... Well, I have a wine freezer, a fridge that I keep most of the weed in, and it's only because it's so hot back there for the most time, and it's usually at room temperature because it's so hot back there in the Buddha Lounge where I grow, because it's like a greenhouse, basically. I use the heat as to my advantage, because anyway.
But yeah, like, just like refrigerating your weed in general is not great.
Yeah.
So, like, if you wanna preserve weed, the way that I've been told you're supposed to do it is you vacuum seal a bag, and then you can store it in your freezer.
Yeah. Well, and I still have some of the original lion's claw trimmings in my freezer right now.
Yeah. So those are still good. You just gotta let them thaw out.
I might just throw them out.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I don't know. We'll see, because that I just have.
You can't make it into like butter or something.
Well, I mean, we could try for sure.
Oh, I still gotta give you the crock pot.
Well, we'll see about that. I'm not worried about that. But there is some new developments here in California.
Yeah,
and that is exciting to me, because it's. Did you guys hear? Do you guys hear my dog Echo whining for Mitch to pet her? If you do, I apologize for her begging, but no. California, Gavin Newsom just signed legislation to allow cannabis cafes and consumption cafes here in California that are going to be Amsterdam-like. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now, just because like I just want to make sure we get this right. But yeah, it says here Gavin Newsom has approved new laws allowing Amsterdam-style cannabis cafes to operate in all of California. So that means like cities and counties can allow existing cannabis retailers, and like there are places that already allow you to consume, right? Yeah. Like, but it's allowing them to sell other things other than cannabis. So that's what that means. So it's like in addition to cannabis, like establishments. Edibles. Well, no, not just edibles, but I mean like actual. Because like remember, if you go to a dispensary, you're not allowed to buy like food or drinks, right? Sure. Unless it's cannabis infused or whatever. But this is allowing, like, let's say a dispensary wanted to open up a patio or whatnot, they can.
Or if like say Chef Benito wanted to open up a restaurant,
yeah. So then they can sell things other than cannabis along with the cannabis. So like if you're at a dispensary or like a cafe or whatever, and you want to just buy a regular coffee that doesn't have weed in it, you can do that. It says here they'll be able to sell non-cannabis food, non-alcoholic drinks, because you still need a liquor license if you want to sell alcohol.
Right.
But the stipulations are like the place that's selling has to have some sort of ventilation. So there is going to be some sort of code. Like,
sure, there's going to be some sort of ventilation, and it's probably going to cost a grip.
Yeah, because it's still smoke, and like people are worried about the dangers of secondhand.
I'm sure they'd regulate it kind of like the hookah lounges.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they have some type of air filtration system so that the atmosphere doesn't get too smoky for everybody.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be good. I'm still worried because like the way that marijuana is taxed in California, like
it's so expensive.
Well, it's expensive, but also it's just I've never been a fan of like I understand the need to tax it, but we've talked about this.
Yeah,
like,
where's it going?
So pretty much like the main, like if you guys don't know this, the main like taxes like go to a slush fund, right? Like for the cops. It's a police thing, right? So it's supposed to be you get taxed on it, and then the extra taxes go to funding the police force so they can enforce drug policy.
There were over 200,000 marijuana arrests this year in America.
Yeah.
In 2023, I just saw that online. But Kamala Harris I don't know if you guys saw the Up in Smoke interview. She was talking about how she even called it weed. She was like, "There's no reason for people to be arrested for weed, and they need to be, weed needs to be legalized." And I was like, "Oh, okay." That's the first time a presidential candidate, I think, said the word legalized, which is kind of cool and very big and kind of a big deal. But and she was on. I mean, given the context of where she was on, that makes it really a plausible thing when you talk about she was on the Up in Smoke podcast, where they are known to just talk about basketball and smoke weed. Yeah, so it is really. And I'm glad that they asked the question, because that's actually, if I got a chance to meet the vice president and or her, her running mate, that would be the first question that I would ask. And in both cases, in Minnesota, I believe cannabis is also legal.
Yeah.
And where Tim Walz is the governor. Yeah. So look. Don't show me what you say. Don't tell me what you say. Tell me what you do.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words.
In both cases, the Biden administration has told the DEA to deregulate or reschedule cannabis, which is a good thing. So it can be studied and then hopefully eventually decriminalized and descheduled.
I just think that the potential for good versus the potential for abuse and other things, like if you were to legalize it just makes more sense to just like,
And I mean, let's be real, homie. You're buying 14 grams every couple of weeks.
Yeah,
that's your medicine.
Yeah,
you're using it. You're using it every day. So just in the same way as my medicine is your medicine, because we're buying basically the same amount. I'm buying about a 14-gram bag every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now that I got a new job, I'm getting paid every 2 weeks. So now,
so now you can.
I'm budgeting that shit out for whenever I can survive for 2 weeks. This the extra eighth of cam that I just bought, that was just like to get me through until I get to get on the road.
This is unrelated, but it's interesting because you said you used the phrase survive, right? Or you use the word survive.
Yeah.
Do you think weed really is a survival thing for you?
Yeah. I wouldn't be growing it in my fucking back patio. I need it. I want it. I always want to have it. I don't want to be without it anymore, especially now that I had to go buy it again for the 2 months. 3 months that I've been buying it now. I fucking hate buying it. I want to have it and not have to fucking buy it. And so that to me is like a big deal, especially now because the grow is really, like the Jack Herrera looks phenomenal. Mm-hmm. We're going to have Jack Herrera for a while. I don't know how many jars. I don't want to guess or try and, prognosticate how many jars of Jack Herrera we're going to have. But we have 5 really big plants of Jack Herrera, and they're still stretching to the sky. They're still getting bigger and fatter and taller, and like a sativa would. I mean, they're the perfect sativa. And even in the case of the strawberry cough, they're very sativa-esque. That's why I put them in the back so that they could all just stretch up.
No, I only bring it up because, and this is a little off topic, but it's just where my mind's going because we, we do what we do before.
Yeah, we talk. We cultivate conversations about cannabis.
And I just think, I know that there are no real bad side effects to other than you're smoking, you're inhaling smoke, which is not ideal.
You're inhaling combustible products.
Yes, yeah. So that's there are other ways to consume cannabis, but that's the way we do.
Sure, that's the way I prefer.
But there's because how you were speaking about it, it does let's address the elephant in the room. It does sound like there is a dependency.
Oh yeah,
right?
dude. I already know. Yeah. I listen. It is something for me that helps, and I say it all the time.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
It is something that helps my brain move right. Mm-hmm. So if my brain isn't moving right, I'm very stressed out. I'm very irritable. I have a very bad temper. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm dependent on it. I need it. I want to have a good relationship with my kids. I want to have a good relationship with my wife. I want to try and have a good relationship with my parents and my secondary and all my family. So yeah, it helps me, man. It's my medicine. It's like I said, it would be like saying to a patient that they're dependent on their medicine because it's my medicine for me.
Yeah, no, and that's interesting because have we had any guests that are veterans or anyone like that that have
had PTSD or
that use it in that way? Because,
no, but I would love to.
No, that's why because what you're talking about, the way you treat it, I feel is more in line with how someone with PTSD or someone dealing with an actual medical condition is dealing with
because for me, I know that I've never had my brain when I didn't have cannabis in my life or when I don't have cannabis in my life, my ADD takes over my brain. That's just, I already know. And I think even in the times where we don't smoke, as when there's stretches where we don't smoke, you can see how my behavior and my head starts to work a little bit and I get more stressed out.
Yeah, you get a little irritable.
Yeah. And I'm at a point now in my life where I'm 50 years old, man. If there's stuff that's bad for me in as far as it is, first, I've never been healthier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And second, if it's bad for me now, if some medical doctor, after all the different studies that they've had, most of them are where they say cannabis is a benefit. Mm-hmm. One says or two says that it's bad for you, then Guess what?
8 out of 10 doctors recommend weed.
8 out of 10 doctors recommend it. So I'm gonna keep brushing. No, but I it helps me, and so that's kind of, yeah, I'm dependent on it. Yeah, that's why I grow it. That's why I grow my own. That's why I want to keep growing, and why I want to be a part of this community and this cannabis community until I can't smoke anymore.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
No, because I also think of like the people that have like the people in media, the ones that have been smoking forever.
Sure.
Like you have you got your Willie Nelsons, you got your Snoops. You know? Like I
want to be Filipino Snoop Dogg. Like I want to be if there is a Filipino cannabis and comedy section of Filipino comedy, that's where I want to live.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I want to do movies about weed. I want to do movies about comedies and sketches and play characters that, you know, yeah, my whole life I'd like for it to be centered around it. Because straight up, like, what now? I've been growing like 2 years now, and we have a podcast now that we're on season 2 of. You know, I really, this is my life now. I really enjoy it, and I really, every morning I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning with the plants.
That's so, like, I still have, like, this is why Eric and I always discuss this, because his attitude towards it, like, we have a lot of the same views, but then, like, I always believe that I'm a little more low key about it.
Yeah, you're much more conservative, and you're much more observant towards what other people see you when you do it.
Yeah, but it's like in terms of amount, we smoke the same.
We smoke the same.
It's just that how we perceive ourselves, or how we want others to perceive us.
Correct.
Like in terms of our relationship to the plant.
Correct.
Is a lot different.
Like for instance, this is not name dropping. This is not whatever. But I got invited to host an event with Jane Fonda. I mentioned it to Jane Fonda, and in fact, the mayor of Burbank, Nick Schultz, who's been wanting to be on this podcast and talk. We were going to talk about the goals of having a cannabis consumption cafe and comedy club here in Burbank on the podcast, and he introduced me to Jane Fonda as a cannabis advocate and a political podcaster. So for me, that was like the best, coolest interaction I've had so far, where the mayor of Burbank is introducing me to Jane Fonda as a cannabis advocate and the host of her event. I was in a good space at that point, bro. You know?
No, because so my mom has been in town for a couple weeks.
Oh, so you gotta go.
No, like I was debating. I honestly was debating because update. I still have not told her.
Yeah,
or like I've not spoken to her about it outright. You know, and there was kind of, you know, like I'm sneaking it in here and there. I'm having edibles.
So wait, did we start season 1 with me telling the story of me telling my parents and you being like, I'm not, and even we started this debate with season 1, and now you are contemplating telling your mom? Is that what?
No, it's always been like I always think about it, but then at the end it's kind of, I'm like, nah, because then she's just gonna trip, you know, like she's.
You think she'll trip?
No, she's gonna trip.
You think so?
Yeah, no, she'll trip. Like, okay. I guarantee she'll look at me differently.
Stay tuned to the Canna Kuyas, because Mitch might tell his mom, and then we'll see if she trips or not.
No, but goddamn, I'm almost 40, you know, like, and I just don't want to, like, for me, it's just, I just don't want to stress her out, because I know she's gonna have a.
Homie, you've heard the story with me. I was turning 40. It was my 40th birthday, and my parents were coming here, and I was in the alley smoking a joint, hiding it from them, and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing?" You know, especially it's my house, and you know. That's when I told them. And it's, I don't know, man. I'm not, this is not a question of manhood or any other, you know, you're not cool or strong or whatever. No, that's not it. It's however you want to deal with your parents, and how you want to have a relationship with your parents, and how you want your parents to see you. So it's not me forcing you to say, go tell your mom or whatever. For me, it was more about my relationship with my parents is more about me always trying to stake what territory I can be who I am. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so weed was the last wall that I had. It was the last thing that from my youth and the things that I've carried on into middle age that I hid from my parents. Mm-hmm. And once that weed wall was gone and I could just, when they were home and when they were here, or when, they were, now, if they were to invite their friends to my house, would I spark up in front of them? Maybe not.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah.
I might not give,
it's my house.
If they piss me off, I might. You know what I mean? Like I'm at a point now with weed and with cannabis, especially with growing. Like it's a funny thing because I remember in season 1 I talked about how I haven't told my mother-in-law, and I talk with her so much about gardening anyway, mm-hmm. because she has a garden and I obviously have a garden besides the cannabis, and I'm at a point now where I'm not even gonna. If she comes over, I'm not gonna like try to take down the tents or hide it or do anything stupid. You know, I'm just gonna. Yeah, I grow weed. Yeah, I'm in the industry. Yeah, I have a podcast about cannabis and I advocate for the plant because it's in my medicine, and I don't think she's going to trip because it's who I am. And I kind of think she knows anyway, because I post a lot of shit online and she's on Facebook and she's on all the things. So
I think ultimately, for me, it's like, I just don't want to deal with the hassle. Like,
I don't think there'd be a hassle though, bro.
I think my mom would. No, there would be a.
You think?
No,
what,
there
like,
would be.
Should it be judgy?
No, it'd be judgy, and then like the thing that would, like my mom and I would have to like have that discussion, and I'd be like, "Mom, I've been like this since I was 21."
Well, that was the thing. It's like once you say that, they're like.
Yeah,
what
like,
can you do?
Yeah, it should be like that. But like, Mom, I've been smoking consistently since I turned 21. So it's like 19 years. They're like straight up almost 20 years of me smoking weed, and like, I don't know. Like, I feel that in terms of
like, what do you think she would say?
She would be like, "Oh, why?" Like she'd be like, "Why?" Like because like. She grew up with Reagan and everything. She's one of in the 80s. Say no to drugs whatsoever. But
like, Reagan was a long time ago, homie.
It doesn't matter. It's those values that have been like they permeate my mom. They're like part of her, and it'd just be interesting because
my parents have gotten to the fuck Reagan point. Yeah, they are. Because they didn't get amnesty from Reagan. They got here. They were here legally.
Low key, I think my mom still supports Trump. So I just don't ask her because I just don't want to get in a fight. But,
speaking of Trump, we don't know how he is about weed if he gets elected. Nah, and JD Vance is very much against it.
Yeah, that's because they're cokeheads
and couch fuckers.
Yes,
allegedly.
No, I guarantee you, like their drugs of choice are
I mean, Donald Trump Jr. is definitely a cokehead.
No, but it's like think about access. Remember, it's like
no, yeah, it's a rich person's drug.
Yeah, what's a rich white person drug?
And what's a poor person of color's drug?
Yeah, straight up.
No, but at the same time, I'm glad that we got this plant instead of the coca plant for real, because I probably would have. Ran into a brick wall or something on cocaine.
So I don't know why this has been coming up a lot lately. Like, because, like I'll be out in public and then, I'll be smoking. And then people will be like, "Hey, do you want to do this? Or do you have any of this?" And they're talking about coke. And I'm like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like stimulants. Right.
Yep.
And, have I told you my story of why, like, I don't mess with cocaine as much or even at all?
I've told you my story. No.
Yeah. No, I've heard your story.
I haven't told it on the podcast, and I don't know if that's suitable.
Might not be.
No.
No, but mine is PG.
Mine's rated X.
So yeah, yours is bad.
Mine should be on Pornhub.
No, but
anyway.
But for me, okay, so like, what was this? Early 2000, like early 2010s, right? Mm-hmm. Like I had my appendix removed, right? Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things where it was just like I just woke up and all of a sudden I couldn't move, right? Like
the pain.
Yeah, like I just, it was just too much. Like I had to have like some people take me to the hospital, right? And when I got to the hospital, there were no surgeons on duty that specifically like could do what they needed to do for an appendectomy. So like the hospital was scrambling trying to get people in. They were able to find an anesthesiologist, and they're like, that's cool. And so like, but before I went under, the anesthesiologist, he was a family friend because my mom is a nurse, and like he was the guy who came in, and like he was just this really old, cool, laid back like black dude, you know, like he was just super cool. And I remember he was like, "Hey man, do you do any drugs?" Right? And I was still young enough, and I didn't want to say anything yet, right? He's
right,
like,
but you had smoked weed at that point, or
yeah.
no?
Like I
so you were in your 20s.
Yeah, I was in my 20s.
Okay.
And he's like, "Hey, do you do any drugs?" And he's like, "Hey man, it's cool. Well, like whatever happen, like it's between me and you, you know, like with doctor-patient confidentiality." And I was like, "Well, I smoke weed every day, right?" Like, and the doctor looked at me and he laughed, right? He was just like, "Weed? That ain't shit," right? Like, he's like, "No, I'm talking about like, do you do anything harder than that? Do you do any cocaine or anything?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I don't." And he's like, "Good, because that shit'll fuck with your heart. Like, smoke as much as you want. Stay away from the white stuff." And I was just like, noted.
Yeah,
You know?
no, my doctor, because like I said, when I talk about how my weed is my medicine, my doctor knows every single bit of my consumption and how much I do and how much I smoke and what I smoke for. And it's something that's why it's a trip when Meredith we were going to switch insurance and I was going to have to switch doctors. I was like, nah, we got to stay with this doctor and make sure that if we're on a new plan that I can stay with this doctor, because he's like,
he knows.
He's not even that he knows, he's good with it, and he's like, your lung capacity is good, you seem to be really good as far as all, everything, colonoscopy, whatever it. Yeah, all I had to do was I had to drink the stuff and then put the thing on and put it in the envelope. I don't know who the hell. I would never want to be a postman after that test, but like, all you got. I haven't even had the. My dad hasn't had to have a colonoscopy until he's now 77, but that was his first time. So yeah, I'm very healthy, and I it's something that I do discuss with my doctor, my cannabis consumption. So it's again, man, it's I think it would help your relationship with your mom eventually. Or it could be something that is a point of contention for the rest if your mom's kind of stuck in her ways. Which
she's not saying. Like, I'm pretty sure she'd get over it, but I just don't want to deal with like the few weeks or months or whatever where she just stews in it. Like,
sure, I guess. I mean, it's funny because my mom even still talks about it in a way that's kind of judgy.
Yeah.
And she eats edibles every night.
Yeah.
So, there's that bit of 80s propaganda, that just say no propaganda is always going to be in them because it was such a big part of their lives, in the timeline of their lives. It was such a big part of their lives. So it's always going to be a part of them.
No, I also know that she'll give me hell for it because, like, just her attitudes towards alcohol. Cause,
she doesn't even like alcohol?
She doesn't drink, but, like, she knows that I do. But like, I always get the side eye if she sees me with like, because I drink with cousins, and like, she doesn't care about my cousins or my uncles or titos or whatever, like. But then when it's me, she's like, she has one of those.
You know what I'll say to that? I mean, well, and again, I have lived a very debaucherous life when it comes to a lot of things, and I was really, really stupid drunk on my wedding. To the point where I think you might have seen the video on this, because
I haven't seen any videos.
There's video of me screaming, "I'm Rick James, bitch," to my Lola, because I was so drunk at my wedding. And when my mom and dad saw that, my parents didn't speak to me for a month after my wedding, because like I was drunk, like I had alcohol poisoning drunk.
Oh.
And my dad didn't speak to me the day, like weeks after the wedding. My mom didn't speak to me for weeks after the wedding because I was so embarrassing that I was drunk. Like, I jumped off the roof into the pool. I was drunk.
Yeah,
Stupid.
see? Yeah, and that's like alcohol will make you black out.
But and now it actually from that night that my wife decided to stay with my ass, I really have just stuck to weed for the most part. I've gotten drunk since then, and I've still, and but I don't. I'm actually trying to have a dry October, to be honest, and because I drank a lot on my birthday. We drank a lot on my birthday.
Yeah, I've been drinking a lot,
and I've been drinking a lot. And I know that these comedy festivals, I'm going to have to avoid alcohol rather than have to buy any. So if I do have a drink or two, I'm fine. But you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to not drink too much anymore because it really does affect my body. Where cannabis is, again, it's just been beneficial for me.
No, I feel that. Like at my age, like I have a couple drinks and I feel it. Like I feel it the next day. I feel out of sorts until I get like food in me or the alcohol out of my system.
You know what? Do IPAs? Let me just ask you just a quick question about alcohol and beer. Do IPAs give you headaches?
Yeah, it's because it's a lot of. It's a lot.
Because I can drink all the beer in the world. Like I could drink 805 all day.
Yeah,
and I could drink. We were drinking tequila at my house. It was cool, and I didn't have any headaches because we were eating, and everything was cool. I drank 2 IPAs for my birthday when my family took me out to dinner, and I had a headache like you would not believe.
Yeah, IPAs will give you a headache. They'll also make you pass out. They'll make you sleepy.
Why?
They're heavy.
Yeah, I mean, this was like 7% alcohol, for sure.
Well, no, it's just heavy too, like in terms of like feeling. So like, if you were to equate like beer to weed, right?
Yeah.
IPAs would be indicas.
Okay. So I like IPAs. I just don't like the fucking headaches.
Yeah, because
indicas don't give me headaches, so I'm gonna stick with indicas instead of fucking IPAs.
Wait, do sativas give you headaches?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I will say this: Trainwreck.
It does.
Trainwreck was the one strain that I stay away from because it just every time I had it, I bought it twice from the dispensary back in the Prop 215 days, and no.
That's interesting. So there are certain alcohols I will avoid because like it's like I have avoidance because like either I had a bad experience or like my body's like, what the hell is this, right? Like I can't drink certain alcohols anymore. Like I just can't. Like I can't drink Evan Williams, like that cheap whiskey that's usually in the well.
Okay.
Like even just a little bit of that will make me sick.
Well, see, and I can't drink gin because of my wedding.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can still drink it. I've drank gin since my wedding. It's just not my prefer. If there's anything else, I'd drink that before.
Yeah, it's like like I can't. I don't know who can anymore, but people can't.
You know what else?
Like
You know what other cannabis strain I'm not necessarily a fan of, and I'm excited to give it another chance.
Jack?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because Jack, the times that I've had Jack, I had to smoke the whole eighth to get high.
Oh.
Like, because sativas. And again, we've discussed it, the names, but like known sativa strains I have to smoke like a whole joint for me to feel it.
Oh.
Which is the only reason why I don't like Jack. I like the smell of it, I like the shape of it, I like all the other stuff of it. But again, I have to smoke a lot of it. And we have a lot of it, so it's going to be okay. But we'll see because, again, it's a very different potency, very different whole thing when it's grown by yourself.
Like that. It's interesting because I don't have that. I don't have that experience.
You don't have a distinction in your as far as the difference in your high.
No, not a distinction. But I like we're talking about alcohol. Like I don't have any strains that I avoid.
Really?
Like I've never had like any bad.
Those are the only two really. But even Jack Herrera, I've smoked since. Well, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't, because you never know with dispensaries. Because if could be a hybrid, could be Jack, and they just put Jack on there, But I've smoked Jack since, and it's been fine.
See, I think the closest thing with me would be I smoked a batch of green crack one time.
Green crack is another one,
and
I get with green crack specifically. I got heart palpitations.
It made me a little paranoid.
Yeah,
and I usually don't get paranoid.
Yeah.
But yeah,
green crack
that would
sure.
be like the closest. But like, It's not like, dude, like I could name off like dozens of liquors that I can't drink anymore, but I can't, like I could maybe green crack would be the only one for weed.
It could have been that batch of green crack that we had, but again, specifically green crack, Trainwreck, and again, Jack Herer more for the potency, and it was fine. I'd still smoke it, but Trainwreck and green crack specifically, nah, I'm good. Just miss me with that stuff, because with green crack I had heart palpitations, and with Trainwreck I had bad headaches.
See, like, okay, so for sativas, for me, like, you know how you say you have to smoke a lot? It's, I can understand why you say that, because like for sativas, for me, I can smoke a good amount, but it's not like when I smoke an indica where I'll feel it in my body and it'll get heavy, you know, like a sativa, like that's why they say like they're daytime weeds, you know, like it'll keep you up and going.
I can see where like I'll smoke Jack Herer all day when I'm working in the garden, and then I'll smoke Jedi Cookies at night.
Yeah,
for when I'm chilling.
Yeah, you have a morning, afternoon, and night type of weed.
Oh my lord, this is gonna be or strawberry cough, because strawberry cough is also sativa, but strawberry cough is also sentimental. I love strawberry cough. It's also a tasty weed, and yeah, I'm excited I'm excited to harvest all of this, man. Yeah. I'm excited, and it's gonna be in the next couple of weeks. So I mean, you got to just stay tuned here, and you also got to follow us on Instagram, because I've been uploading the photos and the pictures and the videos, and we really need more likes.
Yeah, and then if you're listening to this on any of the major streaming,
Spotify, Apple.
Like, don't forget to like, subscribe, share us. Again, we are a weed podcast, so we show up lower in the search results.
But thank you guys for all the downloads. We've been watching. And, you know, since season 2, the first episode of season 2 came out, episode 31 of our overall 31 episodes, right? This is the episode 32. You guys have been really downloading and really, you know, sharing our podcast, or at least you're downloading it. So we really do appreciate the downloads, and if you're sharing it, I really do appreciate it. But if we can, write a review straight up, and then send us a screen cap of your review once it's posted on our Instagram, and I will send you a Canna Kuyas t-shirt or a Marijuana Ate t-shirt, depending on your preference. I'm down for whatever. So write a review, and we will get you a free t-shirt from the Canna Kuyas. And also follow us on Instagram. Follow. But I am Eric Esteban, and Mitch, you always do the sign-off, so I'm going to let you do the sign-off.
All right, so you have been listening to the Canna Kuyas podcast, where we are cultivating conversations concerning cannabis, culture, and creativity. As you heard, he's Eric Esteban. I'm Mitch Narito. And for all our Marijuana Ates and Canna Kuyas, stay lifted.
Stay elevated. Peace, y'all.
Later, everybody.
I got my hoodie on, now peep the chest as human catalyst. Downtown Chula Vista, on 3rd Ave where I go cop some shit. Fuck a thief, so fuck zoomies. Yeah, they whack ass jacket shit. Yeah, I move too swift, so I'm striking silence. Fuck the violence, man, check my mileage, cause I got driving. First tour, I drove 6 states, never thought I'd be there right by my side, man. What a time it is to be alive. See, I'm charged up, feeling energized, build an enterprise, move supersize. Y'all extra like a side of fries. Whoa, false guys who you idolize. Yeah, go against us, I would not advise. We the highest in the room, just look up once and you can find us. Our song should have more plays, but we too though, they rewind us. All my targets lined up, every day my girl get fined up. All my clothes is local, bitch, I really rock designer.
Gang, highest in the room, yo, we get fucked up. You can count on Trey Cap, bring the loud pack. Get us in the stew and that's game over. Western Metal Building, that's a home run. Yeah, keep the up or leave the fucker Folgers. Little bitch, I made the beat and dropped the full verse. I just hit a steal, I got dripped up. Package born and raised, bitch, I got dripped up. Y no se compara. Yo estoy con mi pana, se llama Trega, fumando ganja. Estamos con Cali, fumando en Cali, yo sé que traen ganas. Ella me dice, papi, que terminamos la cama. Highest in the room, yeah, we get fucked up. You can count on Trey Cap, bring the loud pack. Get us in the stew and that's game over. Western Metal Building, that's a home run.
Yeah, we got hits like that. Matisse and Machado, man, we know you're not a leader. Cause all our moves you just follow, packing big bowls. You know we just scooped up that gelato. Cause I smoke killer, my shirt iller. Yo, ask our dealer, we the highest in the room. Just look up once and you can find us. Our song should have more plays, but we too low, they rewind us. All my talk is lined up, every day my girl get fined up. All my clothes is local, bitch, I rarely rock designer.